Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. Now I know what you're thinking. Greenland? Again? Didn't we cover this already? And you're right, we did. Back when the news first broke that a certain someone with a penchant for real estate was eyeing up a massive island in the North Atlantic, we all had a good laugh. But here's the thing, it's happening again. That's right folks, the whispers are back and the possibility of the United States adding a giant icy appendage to its already sprawling landmass is on the table once more. Now you might be wondering, why is America so obsessed with this seemingly barren, frozen wasteland? Well, my friends, that's exactly what we're going to be diving into today. Get ready to explore the strategic significance, the historical blunders, and the sheer audacity of America's enduring fascination with acquiring Greenland. Let's go. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the giant melting glacier in the room, Greenland. Why on earth would anyone, let alone the United States, want to buy it? Well, for starters, it's huge. We're talking about an island twice the size of Texas, covered in enough ice to make a polar bear blush. But it's not just about size, although that certainly doesn't hurt. You see, Greenland occupies a rather strategic location, to say the least. Nestled between North America and Europe, it's like having a front row seat to any potential Arctic drama. Think of it as the ultimate geopolitical chessboard, and Greenland is the queen, powerful, commanding, and capable of some serious strategic maneuvering. And in an era of, shall we say, heightened global tensions, having a foothold in such a strategically important region is, well, kind of a big deal. But wait, there's more. Because beneath all that ice and snow, Greenland is hiding a treasure trove of natural resources. We're talking oil, gas, uranium, rare earth minerals, the kind of stuff that gets countries drooling and CEOs salivating. It's like finding out your grandma's dusty attic is actually a vault filled with Fabergé eggs and first edition Hemingway novels. And let's be honest, America, with its insatiable appetite for resources and its bigger is always better mentality, wouldn't mind getting its hands on a piece of that Arctic pie. But Greenland's importance goes beyond just resources and military positioning. It's also on the front lines of the climate crisis, a canary in the coal mine, if you will. The rate at which Greenland's ice sheet is melting is deeply alarming, to put it mildly. It's like watching a giant frozen skyscraper slowly crumble into the ocean, except instead of debris, it's releasing billions of tons of fresh water into the sea, contributing to rising sea levels and wreaking havoc on our planet. So yeah, Greenland matters, a lot. It's a geopolitical hot potato, a potential gold mine, literally, and a stark reminder of the urgent threat of climate change. And yet, despite all this, some people still think it's just a big, empty freezer aisle. Now, the idea of America buying Greenland might sound like something cooked up in a late-night Twitter storm, but it's not exactly a new concept. In fact, the US has a bit of a history, shall we say, a complicated history, with trying to acquire this icy behemoth. Let's rewind the clock back to 1946, shall we? World War II had just ended, the Cold War was brewing, and President Harry Truman, in all his post-war wisdom, thought, you know what we need? More land. Specifically Greenland. So he offered Denmark, the country that actually owns Greenland, a cool $100 million for the island. Now, in Truman's defense, that was a lot of money back then, enough to buy like a whole fleet of those fancy new Cadillacs. But Denmark, perhaps wisely, declined the offer. They were all thanks, but we're good. We kind of like having a giant ice island attached to our name. Fast forward a few decades and wouldn't you know it, the idea pops up again. This time, it's the 1980s, Ronald Reagan is in the White House, and the Cold War is still a thing. And once again, Greenland finds itself in the crosshairs of America's territorial ambitions. The US even went so far as to offer Denmark a lease-to-own deal, like some sort of geopolitical timeshare presentation. But alas, it was not meant to be. Denmark, once again, politely declined. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no, my friends, because in 2019, who should come along but Donald J. Trump, a man known for his subtle diplomacy and his insatiable appetite for real estate. Trump, in a move that surprised absolutely no one, decided he wanted to buy Greenland. And not just buy it, mind you, but buy it like he was haggling for a knockoff handbag in Times Square. He even went so far as to cancel a state visit to Denmark when they refused to entertain his offer. The man literally threw a temper tantrum over a country not wanting to sell him their island. It was like watching a toddler throw a fit because they couldn't have another juice box. But hey, at least he didn't try to trade Puerto Rico for it, right? Oh wait. Chapter 3, From Sea to Shining Sea and Beyond, A History of American Expansionism. Now I know what you're thinking. America trying to buy territory? That's uncharacteristic. And you'd be right if by uncharacteristic you mean completely on brand. Because let's face it, America has a bit of a history with this whole expanding its borders thing. We're like that friend who shows up to a potluck and just keeps pushing the boundaries of their assigned dish space. Remember the Louisiana Purchase? Back in 1803, Thomas Jefferson decided he wanted a bit more wiggle room for the old US of A. So he went ahead and bought a massive chunk of land from France, 828,000 square miles to be exact, for a cool $15 million. That's right, folks. For the price of a decent Manhattan apartment today, America basically doubled in size. And then there's Alaska. In 1867, Secretary of State William Seward, a man who clearly knew a good deal when he saw one, convinced Congress to buy Alaska from Russia for a measly $7.2 million. Now, at the time, people thought Seward was off his rocker. They called it Seward's Folly, Seward's Icebox, and my personal favorite, Wall Russia. But guess what? Turns out Alaska wasn't just a frozen wasteland after all. It was teeming with natural resources, gold included. And suddenly, Seward was looking like a genius. And let's not forget about the US Virgin Islands. In 1917, as World War I raged on, the US decided it needed a few more strategic outposts in the Caribbean. So, they did what any reasonable country with a bit of cash to spare would do. They bought the Virgin Islands from Denmark for a cool $25 million. See a pattern here? From coast to coast and beyond, America has a long and storied history of acquiring territory, often through purchase, sometimes through, shall we say, less than savory means. So, while the idea of buying Greenland might seem outlandish at first glance, it's really just another chapter in the long, strange saga of American expansionism. Greenland to buy or not to buy? That is the question, that no one asked. So there you have it, the US and Greenland. A tale as old as time, or at least as old as America's insatiable desire for more land. But here's the thing, maybe, just maybe it's time to accept that some things are better left unbought. Greenland isn't just a piece of real estate, it's a home to people with their own culture, their own history, and their own right to self-determination. And frankly, the idea of a country with a history of colonization and questionable land grabs trying to buy a massive island in the 21st century just feels a little icky, doesn't it? It's like trying to buy your way onto the lifeboat of a sinking ship while simultaneously ignoring the fact that you were the one who drilled holes in the hull in the first place. So, let's leave Greenland be, shall we? Let it stand as a symbol of something bigger than just another territorial acquisition. Let it be a reminder that the world is not ours to buy and sell, no matter how much money we throw at it. Besides, I hear the market for underwater real estate is about to boom. Maybe we should focus on that instead, just a thought.